Hey everybody, my name is Daniel. I'm a freelance iOS developer here in the city, and in my spare time, I make a subway app called Underway, and Tyler asked me to talk about it. So here we go. Thanks for having me. Underway is an iPhone app. It's a tool for making decisions about the subway. We're targeting people that already know where they're going while they're on the go. Where the name comes from, I guess. We're not a trip planner. We have Google for that. We're not a decision maker. There's lots of apps for these things, including schedule times. We only show the real-time data. And what we wanted to focus on was an app where we can, we have a couple questions that we usually ask when we're traveling on the subway. Like, should I hurry? Or can I take my time? Should I transfer from this local train I'm on with a seat to an express train that may or may not be coming on the opposite track? And what's my ETA? So we came up with a toy example of, suppose we're on the Lower East Side at the Delancey Street, Essex Street stop, and we're trying to get to Columbus Circle. So here's our app. We're sort of tapping along with it. We tapped on the Delancey Street station on the map. You can see when the trains are coming. It looks like we're going to take the Manhattan-bound F train. It's going to loop through one more time. So we're on the F train, and we're now approaching West 4th Street, which has the A, the C, the B, and the D, which will all go to Columbus Circle. So should we transfer or not? Have another video of that too. So we go back to the map. We scroll down over to West 4th Street. Nice and slowly. We tap on it and we can see when the trains are coming there. So we can make a real-time decision about whether or not to stay on the train we're on or go to a different train. And since we're professional New Yorkers, we can estimate our own time to get up 2 levels if we want to trade to the ARC line. And then finally, we're meeting someone for dinner, and they're at a bar right now, and they want to know when they should close their tab or if they should get another drink. And so we can actually share the train that we're on with our friend, so they can make their decisions too. I have a video of that also. So we tap on the C train there, the one that was coming in 3 minutes, and we see all the stops that train is taking. We have a share button on the top right there. We have a link that we can share. It's just the basic iOS share sheet. You can mail it, send it on Slack or whatever. And then when our friend that we're meeting for dinner gets it, they'll get it as a text message perhaps. They could tap on it and they'll see the same view on their app on their phone. Because it's just on their phone, whenever they pull to refresh or whatever, it's just the live data from the MTA. So now I can talk about the technical aspects of how we do some of those things. Here's our basic architecture. Of course, we're getting quite a few GTFS feeds directly from the MTA. We update those every second. We also get their service status feeds. There's a text one and an XML one. We use both of those because not all the same data is in both of them. And there's a few other feeds that we get too. transform this data, turn the crank every 2 seconds, and we put a JSON feed into Redis. And then coming from the other side on the phone, every time you open the app, or you pull the refresh, or you hit the refresh button in the app, you get a new, you hit our web server, which hits Redis and gets the feed. And we save that data on your phone. It's not that much. It's around like 56K. It's the entire system, and it's saved on your phone. So if you go through a tunnel or whatever, because you're on the subway, you still have something to look at. So the app is in Swift, and the server's in Swift. We're running all this in Kubernetes on DigitalOcean here in New York City. Unlike the greater part of the internet, we didn't want to have a New York City subway app be hosted in Northern Virginia. So yeah. Here's an example of the MTA GTFS. I'm sure everyone has this memorized by now. So I'll just skip forward, I guess. And Apple has an open source protocol buffer library for Swift, which we're using to parse the protocol buffers on our server side. And then you saw we tapped on the map. There's a little under 500 stations on the map. So I guess to do the tapping, I made an artisanal handcrafted database of station locations on the map. We're sort of doing what, drawing little rectangles, virtual rectangles, and seeing if the tap is in that area, so that it's not a super long SQL query. But that's all done on the phone instantly. And the MTA publishes a new map just about every 2 months, actually, fairly frequently. And so we put out a new version of the app, a day or two after that, because of the Apple review process. And then so for the arrivals, we take kind of a naive approach. For now, we're working on a better one. We just sort all the arrival times that the MTA has at that station in that direction and for that route, and we show that on the preview, on the little preview pop-up on the map, or for the all arrivals page, it's just everything at that stop. And then for the train screen, we use the trip ID that the MTA uses. And it's not the best unique identifier, but it does pretty well. Sometimes I'm on a train and the trip ID just changes. I'm like, this train didn't disappear, I'm still standing on it. But we encode that trip ID in the URL, and so when you share that URL with whoever you're trying to meet up with, they can just open that up on their phone as well and see the same stuff. Oh, so closed stations. So yeah, there's a few closed stations, and the GTFS data doesn't filter this out. So we we do it ourselves. We're a little sneaky about it, since it's not in any of the service status XML or text posted by the MTA. We use an endpoint that we found from the Subway Time app. If you curl that URL, you'll get something like this, and you'll see the -1 means that station is closed in both directions. So we can filter that out, not just show the arrival times that are there. So in closing, hopefully our app can help you make decisions in real time while you're traveling on the subway. Should I hurry or take my time? Should I jump in front of this car or take it slow? Should I transfer to another train? Should I go to a different station? And when can I expect to get there? There's a whole lot of other features too that I would love to share with you. Come talk to me afterwards. So much.